Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Mouthing Off with Mike. And if you caught the NXT No Mercy predictions I dropped earlier, you're in for a treat because we've got the recap. The show just ended. It was a fantastic show, and I can't wait to talk about each match a little bit more in depth and see kind of where we're going from here. And the best news about everything is I am joined by good brother Jordan. Tell the people what's up, Jordan.
How's it going, my brother? I miss you. This is awesome. I'm happy to get back on for what was a very enjoyable show. Like we chatted about 3 minutes ago, I don't have much negative to say about this, so I'm excited to chat. I'm excited to get into this one. This was fun. NXT feels refreshed, revamped. Everything about it was awesome.
I have to say it 100% one of the best NXT premium live events, pay-per-views, events, whatever you want to call it. One of the best cards that we've seen this year, maybe in quite some time. You know, when we really look at the match card from top to bottom, there are a lot of recognizable names, but there are also some new names and faces that really are starting to cement themselves as the next generation of WWE superstars. Key in point, the first match of the main card of No Mercy was an absolute train wreck of a match of a war between two big meaty men. One especially when Braun Breaker and of course Burn the Ships, Baron Corbin. I had said in the prediction episode that this was one of those matches where after the card ended, you'd be like, you know what? That was a sleeper on the card, and there were a lot of matches that were really good on this card. How'd you feel about this opener for the show, Jordan?
It's so nice to see Baron Corbin get a little more respect after this match. I mean, I've been a big Baron Corbin fan since his first run in NXT with the long hair of the Lone Wolf. I think he's just quality at what he does. So, Braun Breaker's the future. It was great for him to. I honestly did not expect the result of Baron Corbin winning, but those dudes beat the crap out of each other, and I mean, it was enjoyable. Like I said, I mean, from the first belt, they were beating the tar out of each other. It was so physical. Baron Corbin can go with just about anybody, so you can put him anywhere. He kind of has that Miz effect to him, where it feels like you could put him anywhere on the card, and it feels comfortable. He'll put on a good match. So I think this was a perfect match to open the show, and I think it set the tone for what was a great night.
No, 100%. You know, Corbin, a lot of people were like skeptical when he had, popped up in NXT. But hey, he was a free agent with the whole draft thing. And honestly, it's hitting for me, man. New theme song, new ring attire. Tonight he comes out like Ghost Rider. And it was just so cool. When was the last time you saw someone ride to the ring on a motorcycle? Maybe it was, Undertaker, last year or the year before, Hall of Fame Mania, I think, maybe. But it was just such a cool start to the show, and right from the get-go, that's what you want out of an opener. Of course, you know it, we know it, the fans know it. That's what you want. You want to be hooked, and it leads into what I thought was a good match, but a better moment after the match, and that was going to see that dirty Dom Mysterio defend his North American Championship against Whoop That Trick Trick Williams.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Booker T with the ad-libs tonight was awesome. And as the special guest referee, we've got Dragon Lee. Now, a lot of people I saw, were kind of confused why Dragon Lee was a special guest ref. Well, a couple weeks ago, Dirty Dom was the special guest ref for Dragon Lee and Mustafa Ali's match to determine who was going to take on Dirty Dom. Now, I know, Jordan, yeah, we're not too happy
Sad.
about some of those releases.
I am
Any of those
sad.
releases, but especially Mustafa Ali, especially when he had this match slated to go, almost 2 weeks ago. It definitely stings, and I agree with you there. But awesome match for me here, and what a moment for Trick. And we're going to talk about what that moment for Trick means when we talk about the co-main event later with Melo. But how was this match for you?
Truthfully, giving it a deeper look, the match itself was fine. I don't think it was anything, is it a match of the year contender? Not by any stretch, but I was, again, another surprising result just because with how hot the Judgment Day is. You think, Dom's going to keep running with the belts. Damian, Finn, Rhea, they all have the championship, so you figure, he'll keep running, doing his thing. But I guess they knew on the main roster, so his time was eventually due to come to an end. But I thought he was a great North American champion, and I'm excited for Trick Williams. How quick he's gotten over. The presentation weekly with him, Booker T adding that awesome element to the entrance. Everything about it just felt right. The match had an abrupt ending. I thought it kind of came out of nowhere, but I'm very excited to see where the North American Championship goes because of how the show ended up playing out.
Yeah, I think the North American Championship story has definitely entered into a new saga. There's going to be a new chapter written, especially, when we get into later on the card. I will say I truly and honestly believe that Trick Williams will be a massive star for NXT. And then when that time comes to get to the main roster, I think Trick is going to translate very well over to whatever brand he may end up on, Raw, SmackDown, whatever.
I was saying this to my brother, one of the people we were watching with. I said, just a random tidbit with NXT. It's the NIL deal, the people that they're starting to bring in, and just it's so incredible. I can't wait to see what all these guys do. Like, just just thinking about it. I don't know why I just needed to blur. Like, it just with Trick Williams, I feel like guys like him, the sky's gonna be the limit for NXT with him leading the way as North American champ.
Oh, absolutely. The NIL thing is a massive thing. And then, of course, WWE does special recruitment and boot camps throughout college campuses. So, the new crop and the new generation of WWE superstars more than likely are going to have, more athlete backgrounds. We've
Yeah,
got
he's just so clean. Yeah.
countless, gymnasts and football players and college wrestlers. So, a lot of that coming into NXT, which is going to be really
His
great.
wrestling isn't the cleanest yet. Like he's still progressing in the ring, but in terms of athlete, he's big, he's strong, he's fast, he jumps high, charisma through the roof. I mean, he's a gem, an absolute gem.
Yeah, one of the premier talents for the years to come for WWE.
Yep.
Speaking of some talented wrestlers, we got a lot of chaos in this match, but we got a great tag team fatal four-way with the family, personal favorites, biased favorites of mine, the Don,
Mama
Tony
Vangoon.
D'Angelo. Hey, where's the freaking gabagool? The Don, Tony D, and Stacks, the underboss, defending them tag titles against three other teams. Former NXT Tag Team Champions, the Creed Brothers. We've got newcomers on the block, out the mud, Bronca Nima and Lucian Price. Yes, I know Jordan talked about it beforehand. Jordan feels very GTA about the gimmick. What did you say?
Yeah.
It's right out of GTA. It just screams
Looks
it.
like my brother's created character for when he used to play Grand Theft Auto in middle school. Yeah.
And honestly, it's a different vibe. It's something new, and honestly, it was working. A couple weeks ago, they were shooting dice in an alley. So Shawn Michaels is cooking up some unique gimmicks, and characters
Oh,
to
absolutely.
NXT. So love to see it. Speaking of new and unique, Humberto Carrillo and Angel Garza have now tapped into their ancestral legacy.
I have to ask.
Yes.
Are the tattoos real?
I've
We
been
were going back.
wondering it for like weeks now since I've seen them pop up.
Somebody's gonna have to comment and tell us because we were having a debate about this during the show with me and in my viewing party. We could not figure out if it was real or not. I put our brains in a blender.
Like they popped up like maybe 2-3 weeks ago, right? When those videos and like the dream sequences, and they woke up with them on their chest, and then they looked very shiny and kind of like the Cody Rhodes neck tattoo I wore for WrestleMania, kind of similar looking. But then as the weeks have progressed, I don't know if like maybe they're legit tattoos because like that shine isn't there anymore, and it looks like a settled tattoo. I don't know. It could be
It looked a little. I had to when I got my tattoo years back. The redness wasn't really a thing for me. I guess maybe it's just different skin, but like the redness was only there for a day or two. Theirs looked like it was still brand new when they were walking out. That's why it has me thinking like maybe it's just like one of those really good fakes or like makeup. Like I said, maybe somebody in the mouthing off with Mike Nation knows better than us. But
yeah, we need a deep dive here into it. If anybody is a tattoo
you
artist,
gotta have an investigator somewhere out there.
Yeah, we need it.
Yeah,
I know the internet's pretty good at that. But this fatal four-way, we saw in the match a scary moment, and it almost reminded me of what happened to poor Rick Boogs at WrestleMania 38.
Oh,
I really, dude, I got
RP.
worked here. I got worked into a shoot here, brother.
So did
HH,
we. So did
I
we.
thought the Don blew his knee out, and I was like,
I thought it
just
was.
I thought I was about to cry, man. I was like, this can't happen. Yeah, they faked it out, dude. They're getting really good at suspending the disbelief as of recent, especially in NXT. How'd you like this match?
Yeah, it was fun too because sometimes with the multi-man matches, it's hard for everybody to get their stuff in, and sometimes it's a little clunky. But a lot of really fun spots in this match. I love the Creed Cannonball. It's one of my favorite moves in all of wrestling. The quadruple superplexes. Everybody had their moment to shine. Like I said, OTM's still very new to me. Still very new to the NXT audience, but everybody had a good showing. They protected them, so I thought it was a great match, perfect for the middle of the show. I think the right team won. This was an expected result. You have Tony
Mm,
D'Angelo healthy, so I think their tag team title run is just getting started. I'm thinking maybe there's an Authors of Pain lurking somewhere. I was hoping we'd maybe see them after the match, but I think the Creed's time in NXT I would assume is coming to its conclusion. I think they've done with everything they've done, everything they needed to. So I think the main roster is calling their name. So I think a team like the Authors of Pain would be nice to bring into the division and mix things up. But Los Lotharios, I think NXT was a great spot for them. They weren't really I like the concept of if you're not doing anything on the main roster, go rebrand yourself in NXT,
yep.
figure it out, come back. You know. So I thought it was a great match. I thought the right guys won. So NXT Tag Division's looking bright.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think like you said, the Families Tag title run is just getting started. And with the pool of teams that are now, really incoming now, we kind of have this is how I consider it, and you can tell me because, you're a sports guy, baseball especially. NXT, obviously they're trying to make it, a third brand, but for me, NXT has always been like AAA baseball to
Yeah,
WWE and the main roster. And then
absolutely.
recently now, over the last maybe like year and a half, 2 years, they now have the NXT Level Up show that airs on Friday nights on Peacock, which, it's about an hour wrestling program, and it has some of the newer, talent of NXT's. Now starts to feel that there's another feeder here, and I would kind of consider that the double A to NXT's triple A to, the main roster's major leagues, right? And I,
Yeah,
I think
and we
that's
mentioned the
something.
NIL deal. You could start NIL single A, level up, double A, NXT's to triple A. Main roster's your major league. So
Yeah,
it's the development system that they have. Jade Cargill said it. Random shout out there, but she said in the interview, it's one of one. It's top notch. It's top of the world. So it's expected you get that kind of thing.
now you mentioned her name, and I just want to touch on it real quick, and then we'll get back into the card. Did you expect to see Jade tonight in any capacity? Because I did predict, and I had a feeling that maybe we'd see her in the crowd just for that big pop and like, look who it is. She's a superstar. She's watching what's
Um,
happening down here too.
yeah.
Did you
No,
feel
I
it
think
or no?
I expected her after one of the match. The next match we'll cover. I expected her to show up at some point after the NXT Women's Championship match, or I'm sorry, the
Yeah,
main event. But
yeah,
I expected her that main event, last match on, maybe expected her there, but otherwise it's very soon. Babe, very slow, and they'll slowly brew her in. So
yeah.
I hope she ends up in NXT, but um yeah, like I'd say 5 to 10% of me maybe thought that she would pop up tonight.
Yeah. And I would say, kind of with the next match, we've got the Heritage Cup. Noam Dar defending his Heritage Cup against Butch from the Brawling Brutes. Love me some Butch.
Damn it,
And
give him Pete Dunne.
give me Pete Dunne back, the
Give him Pete
Bruiserweight.
Dunne.
Agreed.
Give him Pete
Agreed.
Dunne.
And this was the culmination, and this was in due to Butch winning the NXT Heritage Cup Global Invitational Tournament, very similar to the G1 here. And when we come back, I have to take a brief pause here. When we come back, we are going to get into it in just 1 sec. Welcome back to Mouthing Off with Mike. We're going to cover, kind of the last half of the NXT No Mercy card, starting off with Noam Dar, Supernova 11, and the Meta 4 group defending his Heritage Cup against Butch. What do you think, Jordan? How do we feel?
So I mentioned the last match how it didn't feel clunky, everything felt smooth. the way the Heritage Cup held, I love Butch. Big fan of Noam Dar. I actually am very big on both of them. I still think they're both underutilized, underused. I like the Metaphor group. I like I said, I like the idea of the Heritage Cup, but just the when the flow is going and then they have the 20, it's only a 20-second break. It's not even, it's not a real
No.
break. So to me, it's just breaking up what was a smooth flow a few times. You had Gallus coming in causing chaos. So a lot going on for me in that match. I think obviously the right winner won. Butch wasn't sticking around in NXT, but I think the match again was fine to have in the middle of the card. I don't think people are gonna write home about it as a match of the night candidate, but it did its job. Another win for Noam Dar. I don't really know where he goes next. I'm curious to see where that goes, but for me, it was a match that happened.
Okay. All right. I respect that. See, I'm in the other side of this department, folks. I absolutely love this Heritage Cup stuff. For me, it's like bursts of energy, and it leaves me wanting more. Like, the rounds are about 3 minutes, and typically you'll see six. Right? We have the 20-second break, and usually it's 2 out of 3 pinfalls. That's how basically it breaks. So you could see this end within the first 3 rounds. You could see this end in 6 rounds. You could see it ended in a tie. So I understand Jordan's perception of this, and I understand his perspective. For me, I like it because it's like, here's 3 minutes of craziness. And then it's like, oh, we got to stop. So you're like, oh, you're keeping me on the edge of my seat. And it's like, oh, here's another 3 minutes where I can see your side of it, where it's like stop and go momentum, where it's like you're gearing me up, you're making me climax, and then you're bringing me
Feels a
back
little bit like
down,
New
and
York
you're
traffic sometimes. You're getting on the
right.
highway, you're moving a little bit, then it's oh shit,
Stop and
crap,
go.
yeah,
I can see where the stop and go for you is not, something you enjoy, but I don't mind it. I think it's
yeah,
a unique concept, and I'm hoping
oh for
the
sure.
first few months of it, they hash it out very well. And I hope that they continue to do so. And I think some of the next ones that could challenge for that cup, I'd like to see Axiom get a crack at that. Maybe we can get maybe Joe Gacy in the mix. He's kind of going through some stuff with the Schism departure and all that. There's a few guys that I like to see, mix it up. Maybe we get Cedric Alexander, back down, and we can see what's good with him. Be nice to see. But, we're coming down to almost the end here. We've got two final matches, and man, these two final matches, we could go on for hours and hours. But the first one we got to start off with is him, the reigning NXT champion, Carmelo Hayes, putting that title on the line against the Mad Dragon himself, Ilya Dragunov. Dude, I'm gonna let you start with this one because this was
We now unfortunately could say him is no longer the NXT champion. What a match! Even from the entrances, the presentations with the jersey from the rafters is always a nice touch. I love the Dragunov robe. His energy. He just feels like he's on something, and I need it. Like the way he was so good. They were both the chemistry that they had in this match was unreal. They were beating the tar. Another match where these two are beating the tar out of each other. Dragunov gets split open real nice. It was
yeah,
like I don't mind seeing a little bit of color, and they don't do the reference CM Punk, the jab, and they did it the good old fashioned way, the tough way. So I thought this was great for both men. I think Carmelo Hayes, his run was awesome. He did everything he could have with the run. Not I wouldn't say everything he could have, but he had a very strong run. So for a guy like Dragunov, who's been chasing that big moment now for what feels like a little while, it's nice for him to finally get it. So I'm excited to see where he takes the championship. And now Carmelo Hayes, he was doing a lot of overthinking, a lot of self-doubting. So his character arc is, now he's lost it all because of the self-doubt. When Trick will, his best friend was trying to keep his head straight. He said, "Listen, like you're him," but he
you're
didn't
him,
believe in
bro.
it.
He
So
he tried.
the next month or so, we should see a real interesting twist in the character of Carmelo Hayes, and then for Ilya Dragunov, it's who's next.
Yeah, 100%. Who do you set up now with the NXT title picture? Are they gonna run it back, Mello and him, for a third time? I think they hold off on that, but definitely now, who's next for Ilya Dragunov? Who's gonna become that challenge for him? And speaking of him, Carmelo, man, what an interesting dichotomy we have forming now. Trick Williams, we spoke about it earlier, won his match, won the NXT North American Championship, a title that Melo as well held 2 times, with Trick by his side throughout both of those title runs. And, up until a couple months ago, the NXT Championship. Now Melo is titleless and Trick holds a title. What I can only imagine what that chef of a booker, Shawn Michaels, is cooking up for those two stories.
Maybe the question is now, the question becomes, was Melo ever him without Trick?
That could it be? That self-doubt. Could that now we see Melo become the hype man for Trick in a switch of everything that we've come to see with the two? Now that Trick holds the gold. I'm intrigued. Let me know what you guys think, where this goes from here, because I think there is a lot of potential for a very long-fledged out story. I don't think we can be quick to bring Melo to the main roster just yet, because I think there's still a really big story left on the table with him and Trick in NXT. Would you say so? I think so.
Yeah, part of me thinks, similar to Dragon Lee. I think, they're giving him a lot of screen time. He's getting a lot of rub across, main roster seems to like having him there. So I think, him and Melo are the next two to go. But Melo's got one. Yeah, I think one more. I think he'll go out. He'll go out fighting Trick. I think you're right. I think he's got one more thing left to accomplish in NXT, and it's to see if he really is him against the hype man.
Yeah, I think it's an interesting point. And you, ladies and gentlemen, we have made it. We are here. We are at the main event. And let me tell you something. This main event, man, I knew it was going to deliver. I predicted it earlier. I said, listen, in the prediction show, I said the main event of No Mercy should be Tiffany Stratton taking on the man, NXT Women's Champion, Becky Lynch, in an Extreme Rules match. Man, oh man, these ladies tore the house down. We had some color in this match. Tiffany Stratton busted open in the eyebrow early on. We saw the ladies brawl out in the crowd. We saw King Troy, how Becky, the designer for her and Seth's gear, was in the crowd there. What a chaotic match and what a great main event. How do you feel, Jordan?
Oh, absolutely.
Anything?
I thought, similar to Baron Corbin and Braun Breaker. I think it was, the Becky Lynch promo work. Is it always perfect? No, but this kind of match re-solidifies her as, who she really is at heart, and it's one of the best. She's really one of the best in the world when she's on top of her game. So I think this was, a top tier showing for her, one of the better women's matches of the year, and for Tiff Stratton, I mean, what's there not to say? She's a star in every sense. She has the looks, she has the charisma, the talent. I mean, she's strong, she's fast, she does flips all over the place. I mean, she left it all out there. They took Extreme Rules to the limits. They did all they could to take each other out, and I very much enjoyed it, and it was very deserving to be the main event NXT. And I'm hoping, this opens some eyes across the WWE. And now that Jade Cargill's there, they put on a main event match. You still have your Charlotte, you still have Bayley. I'm hoping we see more main events now. So I think it was well earned, well deserved, and I think it was done just about to perfection.
Crazy fact pointed out that I saw earlier on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it now, was that this was the first women's main event in NXT in about 2 years. I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah, I saw 2.5 years.
2.5 years, man. I wish I could give credit to the person that discovered that, because I didn't even realize that. That just goes to show you, just how good NXT is. Even when the women aren't in the main, position, there are a lot of women's matches in NXT, and right on for Sean. We had one in the pre-show, Kalani and Blair, and then we had one, in the main event tonight, especially, and every week on NXT television, there are multiple women, intertwined with the show. There's not a central focused women's storyline around a title. There's a title storyline with the women, and then there's a couple other side stories happening. I'd love to see that transition over to the main roster, relatively soon, because, you've got tons of women there as well. Main event for me hit all the marks. I said it should have main evented. It main evented. It delivered. Could be a candidate for match of the year for me. Could so as well. Carmelo and Dragunov, number 2. Number 1 could be even considered a match of the year. You may see at the end of the year some of those, journalism, wrestling star purveyors, when they rank their matches of the years. I'm not going to drop names.
The
I wouldn't be
forefathers of the wrestling world.
Yes. I would not be shocked to see Mello and Dragunov's name a few times, and I wouldn't be shocked to see Becky and Tiffany's name in that conversation as well. Where do we go from here, Jordan? What do you think? NXT to the moon?
I mean, yeah, the way that roster's run right now, the sky's the limit. I also love like I said, if there's not much cooking on the main roster for somebody, let them go to the NXT and let them go work with the young, if you want the younger group to be ready to go up to the main roster when the time's right, what's better experience than going up against people who've been there and done it? And I think it's going to work wonders for the veterans going down who need a little chip on their shoulder, and I think it's going to work wonders for the young ones getting ready to move on up to bigger and better things. So I'm very excited to see where NXT goes.
100%, I agree, and it's done wonders, especially for Baron Corbin. I thought it was doing wonders for Mustafa Ali before they, unfortunately released him. Same thing with Dana Brooke, unfortunately, before they released her as well. I thought all 3 of them were really starting to come into their own. Corbin, obviously can't wait to see what he does. A lot of questions as to Breakker, the Creed brothers, of course, Mello, but we think, Mello and Trick have a story to be told. With kind of like one final mouth off, the final mouth off with Mike and Jordan this time. Would you like to see maybe be a surprise entrant in the Rumble out of that mix, or would you like to see maybe get called up early 2024? Are there like, give me 3 names, give me like a single star, a tag team, and a woman?
Tag team's the easiest. Creed brothers, like I said, I think they've done just about everything. Male, I think eventually, Ilya Dragunov belongs on the main roster. I think he's, the quintessential Intercontinental Champion to carry that belt to the moon. Yeah. And then a woman that I expect up, probably Tiff Stratton. I think, her ring work is, the rate it's improving. There's no reason why she can't be around there come, Rumble season a little bit after. So I think those, if I had to, put my stock into one of each category, that's where I would place my current stock for NXT Superstars.
I like it. I agree with you. Creed brothers, definitely a tag team that I think should be called up, very, very soon. Not much left for them to do here in that tag division with as many tag teams as there are now starting to appear. A woman I like to see, I definitely agree, Tiffany. Lyra Valkyria. She's ready. I think she's ready to go. I think she'd be a great talent, a unique talent, and a great addition to the main roster women's division. And if I were to give a singles guy a shout, definitely Mello when the time is right. But at this moment, I'd love to see, Corbin take the burn the ships gimmick to the main roster come early 2024. Maybe Rumble, that's his time to come back. So I think that's kind of where I'd put that one for me. Well, Jordan, we did it. We went through the NXT No Mercy card, a great show. Tomorrow, we've got Wrestle Dream. I know we're both excited for that one. A lot of matches announced, so we got a lot to digest with that one. Just
grab your hard hat and your lunch pail.
Yeah, for real. Make sure you drink a couple cups, a couple cups of coffee. Get a cup of coffee. Man, my words, trying to be a cup of haters here. And certainly a lot more, when it comes to myself and Jordan talking some wrestling on Mouthing Off with Mike. Don't forget to check us out on YouTube, subscribe this video, comment, tell us what you liked about NXT No Mercy, your favorite match. Jordan, my main man, thanks for joining me here.
Tell us if the tattoos are real. Tell us if the tattoos
are real. That is the real. Those are the real questions that we need answers to. Hard-hitting questions. Only here on the Mouthing Off with Mike Wrestling Podcast. Thank you so much, Jordan. Don't miss
my brother, I appreciate you. Thank you for having me.
Mouthing Off with Mike. Mouthing Off with Mike.